You helped them. When nobody else showed up, you did. You gave your time, your energy, maybe even your money. You were there during their worst moments without being asked, and you expected nothing in return because that is just who you are. But then something happened that you never saw coming. The very person you helped the most turned on you. Maybe they talked behind your back. Maybe they took what you gave and disappeared. Maybe they acted like you never did anything for them at all. And now you are sitting with this pain that is hard to even explain because it is not just hurt. It is confusion. It is the feeling of being punished for being a good person. If this has ever happened to you, I want you to know something. You are not alone. And Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most honest and ruthless thinkers who ever lived, had an explanation for exactly why this happens. And once you hear it, you will never be blindsided by it again. Nietzsche believed that most human beings are deeply uncomfortable with feeling indebted to someone else. When you help a person, especially in a significant way, you create what he called a power imbalance. You are now above them in that moment, not because you wanted to be, but because you gave something they needed and could not provide for themselves. And for many people, that feeling of owing someone is unbearable. It bruises their ego. It reminds them of their weakness. And the human mind is clever. Instead of sitting with that discomfort and feeling grateful, it finds a way to escape it. The easiest escape is to tear down the person who helped them. If they can convince themselves and others that you are not actually a good person, that you had selfish motives, that you did not really do that much, then the debt disappears, and they can feel okay about themselves again. This is not something that only weak or evil people do. Nietzsche was very clear that this is a deeply human pattern. It lives in almost everyone to some degree. The person who betrays you after you help them is not necessarily a monster. They are someone whose pride was wounded by needing you, and they did not have the emotional maturity to handle that wound with honesty. Now, here is where it gets even more important to understand. Nietzsche also talked about something he called the will to power. Every person has a deep drive to feel capable, significant, and in control of their own life. When you help someone repeatedly, especially someone who is already struggling with their self-worth, you can unintentionally become a symbol of everything they feel they are not, well, simply by existing and being generous of what they lack. And over time, that quiet resentment builds into something they eventually direct at you. This does not mean you should stop being kind. Nietzsche never said that. What he said is that you should be honest about human nature instead of being naive about it. Most people go through life being endlessly generous with the wrong people and then feeling devastated when the inevitable happens. The lesson is not to become cold or selfish. The lesson is to become wise. So what does wisdom look like here? It starts with understanding who you are actually helping and why. Ask yourself honestly, are you helping this person because you genuinely want to give with no expectation attached? Or are you helping because you want to feel needed, appreciated, or loved in return? Because if your giving comes with an invisible price tag, even one you never consciously agreed to, then disappointment is almost guaranteed. True generosity asks for nothing and therefore cannot be betrayed. Wisdom also means paying attention to character before you invest deeply in someone. Not everyone deserves the same level of access to your kindness. There are people who will receive what you give with grace and grow from it. And there are people who will receive what you give and use it as fuel for their own resentment. Learning the difference is not cruelty. It is self-preservation. Nietzsche also warned about what he called the slave morality, the idea that suffering and self-sacrifice are noble in themselves. Many people help others constantly not out of genuine love, but out of a deep fear of conflict, rejection, or being seen as selfish. They give and give until they are empty and then wonder why they feel so used. If this sounds familiar, the most important person you need to start showing up for is yourself. Not instead of others, but before others. Here is the brutal but freeing truth that Nietzsche wanted us to understand. The world does not reward you for being endlessly giving. It does not promise you that your kindness will be returned. And the moment you accept that, something powerful shifts inside you. You stop giving to receive. You stop helping to be loved. You start choosing very carefully who is worth your energy and who is not. And the help you do give becomes something clean and genuine, untainted by expectation or the need for validation. You were not punished for being a good person. You were given a lesson about who deserves your goodness. And now that you understand it, you can move forward with your eyes open, your heart still full, and your trust placed only where it is truly earned. If this video made you think or feel something real today, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more content like this every week, and tell me in the comments, has someone you helped ever betrayed you? How did you handle it? I want to hear your story.